Hi, I am Sejal Tanwarkar. Today we're gonna start with chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation. This chapter is basically involved in genetics part of the biology. So now before starting this chapter, we have to familiarize ourselves with some terms. So here I have noted down the terms which are very important to understand this chapter. So first one is genetics. So, what is genetics? It is the study of inheritance and variation. Now, what is inheritance and variation? So, basically, inheritance is transfer of characters from parents to offspring, and variation is difference between the characters of parents and offspring. So, now we may have seen people saying or asking saying that you look like your mom or you look like your dad. So basically, something is inherit. Some characters are passed on from our parents to us. Hence, we look similar, but sometimes we may look different. So, it is known as variation. That is, during the transmission of characters, certain variations have occurred due to which we do not look like that. Now, what is actually transmitted or what is actually inherited? Basically, it is gene. Hence, it is also known as fundamental unit of inheritance. Now, when a pair of genes comes together, they may have either same or different trait. These are known as alleles. Now, alleles, if they have same, that is, they carry the same pair of gene, then it is known as homozygous. And if different, it is heterozygous. Hetero, different. Now, in heterozygous alleles, there are two: dominant character and recessive character. Dominant character is character which is expressed. We can see that it is denoted by capital L. So I have taken one example, a capital T and a small t, which expresses the phenotype tall. Okay. So in this, the T, capital T is the dominant character. What is recessive character? The character which is suppressed, that is opposite of dominant. As it is opposite, it will basically be denoted by small letter. So here we have taken the example capital T and small t. Here, capital T we know is the dominant character, but small t is the recessive character. Now, what is homozygous or pure one? Chromosome pair with similar alleles of a gene. Here I have written example that they have the same genes. Here both the contains either dominant or both are of either both of them are either dominant or either recessive, but it both will be seen. What is heterozygous? Chromosome pair carries dissimilar alleles of a gene. That is, one may be dominant and another may be recessive. Not maybe, but both of them, there is always a dominant and a recessive pair in heterozygous. Phenotype. A phenotype is a visible character that we can see. Now, if a person is tall, we can say that person is tall, but we can't say that person is heterozygously or homozygously tall. So a phenotype is basically a expressed physically character, a character which can be expressed physically. We can see that. And genotype is genetic constitution of the character. Now I have said that it may be homozygously or heterozygous, that his alleles may contain capital T and small t, or capital T and capital. It may be both. Both of the options are right for the person being tall. Now we'll move on to the introduction to the main chapter. What is now we'll see the intro of the chapter. We humans knew from 8000 to 1000 BC that sexual reproduction was the cause of variation. We know in case of sexual reproduction, two people mates and hence a offspring is born. As they have two individuals are come together in sexual reproduction, of course, two different genes will be come together to give rise to a gene of the offspring. Hence, as the two may not be identical, it causes variation. They exploited naturally present variation to selectively breed and select organisms which possess desirable character. Now we know, due to biotechnology and all, we have developed certain organisms which are beneficial for us. Hence, we have exploited the naturally present variations in them and developed certain variations that were beneficial for us, and we are doing that too. Example of this is given in NCERT. Through artificial selection and domestication of wild cows, we get a well-known Indian breed, Shewar cows, which is in Punjab. Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel. He was the father of genetics. He basically derived all the first theory about genetics we have. He conducted hybridization experiments on guarding peas for 7 years, from 1856 to 1863. He developed the principles of heredity while studying 7 pairs of inherited characteristics in pea plants. He developed principles of heredity that we study. Although his work was not significant, although his work was significant, it was not recognized during his lifespan. So, but it has proved to be a basis or basic of present day genetic we require. Mendel conducted hybridization, or we can say it artificial pollination or cross pollination experiments for 7 years and proposed the law of inheritance. He applied statistical analysis and mathematical logic for biology problems. Though he applied this, it was not acceptable by the old time biologists and all. Hence, his work was basically little bit insignificant during that time. His experiments had large sampling size and greater credibility to data. Hence, he created large experiment on different varieties, and hence he can give that. Yeah, we can see that in many plants, so that it may be true. This he cross-pollinated the true breeding pea lines. obtained by continuous self-pollination. Now, what is true breeding? True breeding are also known as pure lines, which can be obtained by continuous self-pollination. You may have heard about this term in second chapter. So, confirmation of influence from experiments on successive generation of test plants prove general rules of inheritance. His experiments had the successive generation of his experiments proved that whatever inheritance law he had given were true. It was not just an ideal statement he made. Now, we may have questioned that why Mendel selected pea plant only, not why not other plant? So here's the answer to why Mendel selected pea plant. First, pea plants are easy to cultivate. They do not require too much labor, and they require labor, but not such hectic labor. They are easy to cultivate or grow. Life cycle of pea plant is in few months. Is of few months. That is hence it is easier to get results early as possible. Hybrids are fertile. Pea plants have hybrids which are fertile. Flowers are bisexual and self-pollinated. The flowers are bisexual, that both contains male and female birds, and they are self-pollinated. They can be cross-pollinated manually. They can't be cross-pollinated by natural means. We have to cross-pollinate them manually. Contrasting traits are observed. There are certain traits which are contrasting, which we are going to see in further. And pure variety are available. There are pure lines in P2. Now, what are these are the characters, the seven characters or contrasting trait that Mendel seven pairs of contrasting trait in pea plant by Mendel. So first is seed shape. Seed may be round or wrinkled. Seed color, uh, yellow or green. Here, yellow is dominant and green is recessive in case of seed color, and round shape is dominant and wrinkle shape is recessive in case of seed shape. Violet flower is dominant in case of, and white is recessive. Full, that is, it have perfect shape. Pod has perfect shape and it is not constricted. Your full one is or in full one is dominant and constricted is recessive. Pod color, green color pod is dominant trait in P and yellow is recessive. In case of flower position, axial is the dominant and terminal is recessive. And of course, in stem height, tall one is dominant and dwarf one is recessive. Now we'll see how Mendel conducted his hybridization experiments. So Mendel selected 7 pairs of true breeding garden pea varieties. We have seen the above 7 pairs. So what did he do? What steps he made in making a cross in pea? First selection. He selected two tree plants with contrasting traits. Means one plant may either be tall and one may be dwarf. One may have violet flowers, one may have white flowers, one may have round seeds, one may have wrinkled seeds. Anything. Emasculation. Emasculation is a technique of removal of anthers of one plant of a bisexual plant to avoid self-pollination. Bisexual plant contains both anther and a stamen and carpel and pistil too. So emasculation is the technique of removing this stamen. So to avoid self-pollination. Here in the given diagram, it is shown how emasculation is done. Now, pollination. The pollen anthers which are removed, pollen grains are collected from the so as to avoid self-pollination. Now, after the plant is grown to a certain period, it is matured. Pollens from the male plant are collected, and the stigma of female flower is pollinated, and they are placed on the stigma of female flower to pollinate the flower. After pollination, we know germination happens and ovulation, every process, and collection of germination of seeds to produce an offspring. Now we know we have studied in earlier standards that there are Mendel conducted two different crosses. One is monohybrid cross, that is one with single contrasting traits, and second with two different contrasting traits. So we'll study about monohybrid cross. Now we'll see monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross is a cross involving two plants involving only one contrasting pair of characters. Example, we will see how we conducted the monohybrid cross. Mendel crossed tall and dwarf tree plants to study the inheritance of one gene. So we'll study the steps how to conduct a monohybrid cross. Mendel took first homozygous tall dominant tree plant and homozygous dwarf, which is recessive. This homozygous tall will have two capital T's, and homozygous recessive will have two small t's. The gametes of these are T and T. After hybridization, we got heterozygous tall, which is also a tall, but it has one dominant and one recessive. This is known as filial one generation, filial one progeny, or F1 progeny of one generation. Now, these F1 generation that are self-crossed, that is, they are crossed with another same gene or same allele. The gametes of heterozygous tall will be capital T and small t. When these are crossed in a ball, we call this square as Punnett square. So we basically write the two genes we have, that is capital T, one capital T here, one small t here, one capital T here, one small t here. Now we cross them like capital T and capital T. In this box, we got a homozygous tall. Capital T and small t. In this box, we get a heterozygous tall. Capital small t and capital T, we got heterozygous tall. And small t and small t, we get heterozygous dwarf. So basically this is known as second or filial, second filial F2 generation, F2 progeny. The basically phenotypic ratio is now visibly seen. So there are three tall plants, 1, 2, 3. So tall plants 3 and one single dwarf. So dwarf 1. Therefore phenotypic ratio will be 3:1. And monohybrid genotypic ratio is one there is one homozygous tall, that is two capital T's, two heterozygous tall, that is one capital T, one small t, and one homozygous dwarf, two small t's. So basically the ratio becomes 1:2:1. The diagram of this monohybrid cross is also given here in NCERT. We can go through this diagram too. Here, a tall plant and a dwarf plant, their gametes is crossed. They are crossed. So we get all the 4 1 year got are heterozygously tall. Then we have done selfing of these heterozygously tall plants. We get homozygously tall, heterozygously tall, and homozygous dwarf. So phenotypic ratio 3:1 and genotypic ratio 1:2:1. We can conduct these experiments. Mendel conducted similar experiments on another plant having different contrasting traits. Mendel made similar observation for the other parts of traits too. Based on these, Mendel proposed that something was inherited from parent to offspring, and that means he knew something, that something is passed on from parents to offspring. But what is that? He don't know. So he named that something as factors. Now we know that factors are basically genes. That is, genes are basically passed from parents to offspring. We should not use. Have you ever noticed why we use capital T for tall and small t for dwarf? We can also use D now. So we do not use. We use capital T for tall and not small d for dwarf because we may get confused. We may get confused, or it may be difficult to remember that they are contrasting traits of same gene or character. They are alleles of same gene or character. We may think they are different, but actually we know all and dwarf have same gene, are contrasting trait of same character of gene. Now, also when F1 generation TT was self-pollinating or selfing, it produces T and T in equal proportion. Now, what does it mean, equal proportion? That is, it produces 1T, 2T when they are selfed. The gametes produce a 1T and capital T and small t produces. See here. One capital T, one heterozygous tall produces one capital T and one small t. That is, they are in equal ratio. Or equal proportion. Now, 1/4 of the random fertilization leads to homozygous tall. Half or 2/4 of the random fertilization lead to heterozygous tall, and 1/4 of the random fertilization lead to homozygous dwarf. We can see that in this Punnett square that there are total 4 boxes Correct? There are total 4 boxes. But only one box of the 4 contains homozygous tall. Only one contains homozygous dwarf of the 4. So you can write it here. So 1/4 gives us 1/4 T, 1/4 Pt. One fourth TT, 1/4, 1/4 TT, and there are 2, so it will become 2/4, which is 1/2 of heterozygous stock. You understand? So it's basically given there in the same way. I have written that in the same way. So that is 1/4 of random fertilization leads to 1/4 of homozygous tall, half of heterozygous tall, and 1/4 of homozygous dwarf. The binomial expression, which can, we know what is binomial expression. We have learned that in lower standards. That is ax plus by square. It is one form of binomial expression. Now, in case of here, when F1 generation is helped, we get we self heterozygous neuron and heterozygous. Hence, which can be written as half of t into half of t, the whole square, right? Means 1, 2. There are 4 gametes, and 2 of them are capital T, so half of t, and 2 out of 4 gametes are small t. So this, the whole square, which can further produce same number of. See, we can get this by this equation through this. So 1/2 t, we further solve it and we get 1/4 of tt, half of tt into half 1/4 of tt, small t. Mendel from his experiments also found that in F1 generation only one character is expressed. We saw that both the gametes were actually present in F1 generation, but only one character was seen, that is tall. So he observed that from his experiment. And in F2 generation, both the character from the parent generation are being expressed. That is, the dwarf character, which was not expressed in F1 generation, we saw that in F2 generation. Mendel also self-connected the F2 dwarf, F2 generation, and found that the dwarf plants from the F2 generation continue to produce dwarf plants only. Okay. He concluded that genotype of dwarf plant was homozygous tall. It was homozygous tall. Now we'll see test cross. In test cross, an organism showing dominant phenotype of an unknown genotype is crossed with a recessive parent. Here, basically, this statement means imagine a tall plant. We know that a plant is tall, but we don't know whether it is homozygous tall or heterozygous tall. So to identify that genotype, we cross that plant with a recessive. We know recessive means, of course, homozygous recessive plant or recessive parent. Your example, I have drawn one, and one example, same example, is also present in NCRT text in the form of pictures. So here we took a homozygous recessive, that is, here we are basically doing of color. Okay, so we took homozygous recessive, that is white flower and same, and a dominant phenotype, that is, we know that it is violet and violet in color, but whether it contains V, capital W and small w, or capital W and capital W, we don't know that. So we are going to identify that. So here's homozygous recessive or small W's are crossed with capital W and capital W, and here it is same crossed with capital W and small w. In case of this, we get all the flowers are violet, that is, they are heterozygous. Okay, and in case of here, all the two of them are heterozygous and two of them are dwarf, homozygous dwarf, homozygous dwarf and homozygous recessive. Okay, so here what result do we get? All flowers are violet. Hence, unknown flower is homozygous dominant. That is, we get same. Therefore, it is homozygous dominant. In case of here, half of the flowers are violet and half of them are white. Therefore, interpretation, what we got to know is that unknown flower is heterozygous. Now, here's the similar example. Just we got to know it through diagram. You can go through it. Da- Dada, dada, dada. You guys can go through this photo or diagram, whatever. Then we know Mendel gives us law of inheritance. Law of inheritance is actually divided into two. That is, first law of dominance and another is law of segregation. What is law of dominance? Here in law of dominance, he stated that characters are controlled by discrete units called factors. He knew that characters are passed on due to factors. We know that it is due to genes, but he didn't knew that they were genes. He called that something. He knew that something is passed, and he called them as factors, and they are discrete units. Factor occurs in pairs. We know factors occurs in pair and alleles. In a dissimilar pair of factor, one member of pair dominates the other, that is recessive. We studied it in the start only. That is, character factor occurs in pair. That is, gene occurs in pair, which is known as alleles. In dissimilar, that is, if decimal pair of factors are present. If the factors present in the pair of factor is dissimilar, then one may be dominant and one may be recessive. And dominant dominates over the recessive. We know this, and we studied this too. The next is the law of segregation. During gamete formation, the factor alleles of a character present in the parent segregate from one each other, and gamete resists only to one of the two factors. That is, if the factors is capital T and small t is the allele pair of factor. It's when during a parent segregate during gamete formation, that is, it segregates, and only one gets that one gamete got capital T, one got small t. We know that. We studied this in monohybrid cross. Homozygotes gamete produce similar gametes. We'll see this. I'll show you guys. See, this is homozygous. This is also homozygous. See, even if it is heterozygous, we get one gamete got one single character only, factor only. So in case of homozygous, the alleles present, both the gametes produced are same. There is no difference in them. But in case of heterozygous, they are produced in equal proportion. That is, one capital T, one tall, one gamete which has character tall, and one which has character small. So here, homozygous gamete produce similar gamete, and heterozygous gamete produce two kind of gametes, each having one allele with equal proportion. Okay, hope you guys understood. Thank you.